How do you hold on to your faith when everything around you seems to be crumbling? How do you persevere through life when you feel like those who are living ungodly lives are prospering and doing well? You're living by the word and your life doesn't seem as if it's going to get crooked. How do you hold on? Have I got any help in here? You have to maintain the promise that God has given you. Well, I can't keep you long. There's just about 3 things I'm going to lift out of this text, and I want you to walk with me. I'll hand those to you, and I'll get out of it. So first thing, when I look into this passage, in order for you to come through in a crisis time, you have to have the right attitude. See, a right attitude is what you need to take into difficulty, because a right attitude determines what you get out of the crisis. And a right attitude determines how long you stay in the crisis. Because if you have a bad attitude, you might have to stay there a little longer. That's why I quoted that scripture that says, in everything give thanks. It's ugly, but give thanks. It's hard, but give thanks. It hurts, but give thanks. I've got to change some things, but give thanks. Because the attitude that I bring to the storm determines how long I stay in the storm. And some folk are still in a storm because you have a bad attitude. Haven't let me help you. But I see something in this text that I think is one good. First of all, I see perspective. Somebody say perspective. Now let me be clear. Whenever you talk about perspective is the capacity to view things in their true image or relative importance. It's the ability to view your life in a larger framework than what has been presented. Are y'all gonna help me here? I need you to open the Bible. Pick up verse 12 in chapter 17. Watch this. And she said, as the Lord thy God liveth, I have not cake, but a handful of meal in a barrel. Watch this. And a little oil in a cruse. And behold, I am gathering 2 sticks, that I may go in and dress it for me and my son, that we may eat it and die. Are y'all helping me? Now I gave you the word perspective, but I want to show you some things, because whenever you talk about the word perspective, it describes how you view your life. It explains the reality of your present situation, but sometimes when you deal with the word perspective, that reality is distorted by where you are in life. In other words, your faith is trying to push you through, but your faith has to wrestle with your perspective, because your perspective becomes negative because your vision is distorted by the things you're going through. You're trying to be positive and you're trying to see God make a way, but the thing that keeps you from seeing God making a way is your present situation seems so large that you can't visibly see God making a way. Haven't got any help in here? And I got to tell you, when you deal with perspective, what you see, somebody shout, what you see, can be rightly interpreted or misinterpreted by the angle or lens that you look through. That if you keep looking through a negative, then the only thing that you're going to see pertaining to your situation is the negativity that's attached to it. That you have to learn to look at the negative and cast beyond the negative to that which is positive. Y'all still ain't hearing me. When I get to this passage, I have a clear view of how this woman views her life. And I understand what she thinks about what's going to happen in her life, because she's already at the gate of the city with sticks, a little oil, and a little meal. Her perspective is, my life is over. Are y'all going to help me? She's telling me by her movement, by her movement to the city gate, that my life is over. My son and I are going to die of starvation. There's no hope for us. This is it. This is all we're going to do. And I need to say this to some of you, that your actions sometimes show forth how you really feel about your present situation. And we have got to make the leap. Listen to me. We have got to make the leap from the songs we sing in church to it becoming the real essence of our faith. Because sometimes we sing songs that we don't believe. I mean, choirs got to be singing, I'm so glad trouble don't last always. And then when trouble comes, your mouth is filled with complaint. But you've been singing every Sunday that I'm glad trouble don't last always. really believe God. And the reason why we have to trust God is because her situation is so in her way that she can't see the possibility of anything greater getting to her. Have I got any help with her? Well, what do you see, God? God says, here's what I see. God says, if she's willing to be obedient to me, that her life can move from poverty to prosperity. Have I got any help with you?